Welcome everyone to another Observability Clinic, another Dynatrace app spotlight episode. Today we put the spotlight on the Databases app, which is a new app that was announced at Perform 2024. And I couldn't have found a better person to walk us through the new app than Darek, who is one of the product managers. Darek, thank you for being here. Hopefully everything is good with you.
I think we're great to be here.
Yeah. Hey, Darek, a lot of great announcements at Perform. The Databases app, amongst other apps for infrastructure monitoring, have been announced. Can you please give our audience an overview of the Databases app and then also a live demo on how they can leverage the app?
Yeah, sure. Let's see how I can help. So the newly introduced Databases application is about providing the DBAs and application owners a single pane of glass for all the database-related tasks. So simply, you can expand monitoring coverage using Extension Manager or the previously presented Discovery and Coverage app. I will show that in a minute. You will get a quick overview of all the databases you have monitored. That can act as your morning coffee routine to check the current state of all the databases you have monitoring. You will see you will have the availability to diagnose availability and performance of your databases, as well as track performance of the most critical database statements that support your applications. So the databases we support today mostly come from the data is collected by the extensions. For that, we have Oracle, SQL Server, IBM DB2, SAP HANA, MySQL, Postgres SQL, and I believe we have also Snowflake, but more to come in the future.
Cool.
The Octopus announcement is already online, and you can try the application as of today if you're a SaaS customer.
Perfect. And this is a good reminder, folks. If you're watching this and you want to get to the blog post, you will also find the link in the description of this video. But that's a great overview, especially it's a great variety of databases that most of our users are using. Darek, now I think it's time to actually see it live. Can we switch over to the live environment and see how this works?
That's why we're here. So yeah, the application is built in, so we'll get it with the product, and you will see it directly in the app launcher if you see databases here. But before I start with the introduction of the application itself, let me quickly get you through how to get started monitoring of the databases. So there are two ways. The first one can be accessed directly from the app by clicking Expand Monitoring, and you will get an overlay of so-called Extension Manager with pre-filtered database extensions here. The second one, actually still the first one, is again the Extension Manager, which is a standalone application. You can you will find it in the application browser, and again you can search for a specific extension there. In this case, that's an Oracle database extension, where you can see what the endpoints you have configured, diagnose those configurations, whether there are some warnings, errors, or if everything is valid. You can add new configurations and so on and so on. That's the whole idea of the Extension Manager. And the second way I mentioned is through the discovery and coverage. If you pick a category databases, you will see some discovery findings about databases related topics. With that, you can also activate the extension dedicated for a specific technology from within here.
That's cool. So to recap, we give you different ways on how you can enable those extensions. I really like the Discovery app because it basically says, hey, we detected some databases. Do you want to now activate that extension? And then we take care of making sure that all of these extensions are correctly configured. Yeah. And then from that point on, we pull in the data. And then the database app is really great because it gives you the overview of all of your databases that you're monitoring with the variety of extensions that we provide. Yeah.
Exactly. That's actually the first screen when you launch the database app. you will see an overview of all the databases monitored. And in this environment, we have 2 Oracle instances being configured already, and 1 SQL Server instance. That's reflected on this donut chart here, and we can see all of those databases are in perfectly valid state. Below that, we have a chart for most time-consuming statements coming from, as of today, only from Oracle, but we're pretty close to expand this monitoring to other databases as well. And I will get to that chart in a moment, but let me first dive into the second screen here, which is the overview, detailed overview of the database instances that we have configured. And as I mentioned before, we have 2 Oracle databases, 1 SQL Server instance monitored. On this screen, we can review the basic availability and performance statistics for those databases, and see, for example, how many active sessions are being currently open, what's the memory consumption, what's the CPU usage, and so on and so on. By clicking on the details of on one of the items on that list, we can jump into the details, and we have a lot of metrics here gathered within the tabs on the top of the screen. We have some attributes regarding that describe this database instance to tell us a little bit more about the environment that it is running on. We have some data in here, so yeah, anything we can capture via extensions, we can put on the screen to get at as much details as needed. If there are some problem notifications configured, as in this case, that's a brief example of how the problem reporting could look like based on the database data that we collect via extensions. That's a potential DDoS attack, although that's obviously simulated scenario. And we can get more details about what happened here within that screen. Any questions?
It's super powerful. Yeah, I mean, this screen for me really shows the power now that we can easily bring in the data from, let's say, databases extensions that we have. So pulling in the data from DB2, from SQL Server, and once the data is in Dynatrace, we do not only give you the data to look at it. Obviously, Davis is analyzing everything, is detecting anomalies, is detecting potential DDoS attacks. I also like on the info tab that we have a lot of metadata. You can tag it, which means you can better organize it if you have many different databases. So this is really great, and everything is happening through our extension concepts. But we make it very easy through these apps now to enable the extensions and also then to observe the data that comes in. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, obviously, like in many other examples of data collected in Dynatrace, we also have logs collected. In this case, those logs, I will show the details of those in a minute. But again, once we start collecting logs, or if the log agent is properly configured to track the server's log, we will see the details collected in here as well. So that's about the details screen. And another cool feature of this application is the statement performance. I know I promised to get back to the second chart of the overview. We will get to that still, but here on this screen we can see what are the top, in this case, the top 100 statements being executed on this instance, and for each statement we can see the details how this query behaved over time, whether it has some spikes on the performance or with some metric exploded at some point in time. We will see that everything here. And again, all the metrics are collected within reasonable tabs here, organized perfectly, and we can see all the details with that regards to the specific statement in here on that screen.
Wow, it's super powerful, especially the statement performance over time, because sometimes, I mean, I'm not a database expert, but what I've learned over the years, if indexes are outdated, performance gets slower. If the statement is now executed with bind values that are abnormal, and therefore it results in higher and slower performance, That's super powerful and very easy now to get access to this data. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And soon we would like to announce the next cool feature with regards to statement performance. That's the ability to access the execution plans for those statements. That's not yet available, but I hope to announce it shortly. And it will be also accessible from within that screen. So for a particular statement, we should be able to get the execution plan directly from the database or being cached in Dynatrace if that's possible. And getting back to what I promised earlier, that's an overview of all the most time-consuming statements across all the entire environment that we have monitored. And as you can see here, it may be not that readable, but we can clearly see that there are a few spikes here on that chart, and we can see which queries exactly caused those spikes. For example, here we can see one query that was executed across few executions, and we can jump directly to the statement performance, and we can see details for that particular query right here on the same screen I presented a moment ago.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and that's a very common scenario, like what you had. Every hour there might be a very heavy report running that is consuming, a lot of your resources and then taking very long, or somebody is like hitting the database with special queries on a regular basis, and now you make this very easy to identify what this query is. Well,
exactly. Yeah. That's actually everything that we have for now within the database app, although it's definitely not the end of our journey. As you can see, we currently focus on relational databases and their instances here on that screen. We have in plans to expand the monitoring for other database vendors like DB2, SAP HANA, and so on and so on. While we already have extensions ready for those technologies, you can find them in the Dynatrace hub. We are still working on making them their UI to look and feel the same as we have, for example, as of today for Oracle and SQL Server. Apart from database instances, in here we plan to add next items like the cloud databases, database services that may be very useful for application owners to see how their application communicate with the database, how this communication behaves, and whether it's performing properly, as well as, for example, the connection pool statistics will be also available here. So keep in mind that the application is still in the early phase of development, even though it's perfectly usable. And yeah, feel free to use it and share your feedback with us.
Perfect. Thank you so much. To sum it up, what I learned is if you are responsible for the databases in your organization, we now have the database app that comes pre-installed with every Dynatrace SaaS instance. It makes it easy for you to monitor any single database instance because we give you guidance on how to configure and enable these extensions. Once these extensions are enabled, additional data comes in from your databases, like what we see here, number of sessions, calls, even down to database performance queries. Also, a lot of information about each instance. So really great that we made it very easy to pull this data in, provide a view for database owners through the database app, but also leveraging all the capabilities of Grail and the Davis AI because we have automated anomaly detection like what you've shown earlier. And as you said, this is not the end of the road. We will have you back once the app sees another update. Thank you so much.
For sure. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.